Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Just going to do a wee quick roundup at the end of the week of where the various different Celtic transfer news, ins and outs and contract stands, with Celtic due back in preseason training for those players who are not away on international duty or weren't away on international duty, with those players coming back next Thursday or Friday, leading up to our first pre-season friendly, which will be against Scott Brown's Ayr. So, to cut a long story short, nothing much has definitely happened for Celtic. We have a lot of irons in the fire, metaphorically. We appear to have a deal to sell O to Genk in Belgium. That is well down the line. It is said that Genk and O have agreed personal terms. Genk came back yesterday, Thursday, with an improved offer. It's being assessed currently by Celtic, and it's thought probably the deal is worth 4.2 million, with some forms of add-ons based on goals, appearances, and any future transfer fees. It's in the Celtic's hands whether to accept that deal or not. I would suspect that it's unlikely anything will definitely happen this afternoon, due to Celtic being a club company quoted on the stock market, and you're not allowed to uh, report transfers, ins and outs, etc., once the stock market is closed for the weekend. It's also thought that Celtic are holding out to see whether they are able to get a striker of improved quality in to replace O. Norwich have very much been playing hardball. Adam Idah has 4 years left on his Norwich contract, 23 years old. He's been at Norwich basically all his career. And at the moment, their new manager, Thorup, who came from Danish football, is assessing his squad and has said that he's going to take the pre-season to look at Adam Idah. And so I can't see Adam Idah being away from Norwich in the next week or next month or 6 weeks. One of the other complicating factors is that one of Adam Idah's main rivals for starting striker position at Norwich is currently away representing America at the Copa America. That's Josh Sargent. And so I would guess that nothing much will happen at Norwich until Idah and Sargent can be compared in pre-season training and pre-season friendlies. So I can't really see any form of deal for with Norwich and Idah until into August at the earliest. And current indications are it looks like Idah will be kept as part of Norwich's squad, at least for the first half of the 24-25 season. Vata and Daniel Kelly continue in contract negotiations with Celtic. The stories of other teams being keen to take Daniel Kelly away from Celtic appear to have currently died away, and the only concrete offer at the moment, it would appear, for Daniel Kelly is a 3-year contract with Celtic to replace his current youth academy B team contract. The other player is Vata. His contract has in fact now run out with Celtic. He apparently, according to his dad, has 15 offers on the table, although it would appear currently there are only 2 concrete offers of an actual contract, one from Celtic for 3 years, which remains on the table and under negotiation, and one from Watford. Unclear exactly what the nature of Watford's contract is. The other 13 clubs said to be interested in Rocavata's signature don't appear to have made concrete offers, according to Fabrizio Romano, who tends to be on top of a lot of transfer deals in Europe and in the UK. Daniel Kelly and Rocco Vata maybe should just have a wee think about the fate that players of similar promising teenager status have had leaving Celtic. Liam Morrison and Barry Hepburn both went off to Bayern Munich. Their careers seem to have hit a bit of a roadblock and are currently going nowhere, not getting anywhere near the Bayern Munich side. They've had some unsuccessful loan spells away from the club in Bayern, and their careers at the moment seem to have hit a roadblock. Another player similar to them, Karamoko Dembele, released by Celtic a couple of seasons ago, went to Brest in France, then loaned to Blackpool, where apparently he was very successful. However, back to Brest in France, and they have actually released him, and so Karamoko Dembele, a very, very promising footballer as a young teenager. His career seems to have hit a bit of a roadblock as well, although it's thought there will be quite a number of English Championship and First Division teams in for him, and I suspect he may well get offers potentially from Scottish Championship and Scottish Premier League Premiership teams as well. No indications whether Celtic would consider giving Dembele a second chance at Celtic. Some good news though, and maybe I should have led with the good news, is Cameron Carter-Vickers and Luis Palma have both very categorically said they're not leaving Celtic. It would appear there are quite a lot of German clubs looking at signing Luis Palma for next season. However, Luis Palma has pledged a future to Celtic. He says he's looking forward to becoming a first team regular, getting himself fully fit in training and getting back to the form he showed in the first half of the season, where he was second for assists and third for goals in that period up to the January winter break. Came back from that with a number of injuries and fitness issues, struggled with the transatlantic flights to represent Honduras, then back to Celtic, and had around 5 games off in the middle of the season. He did come back, I thought, to quite good form at the end of the season, scoring our last game of the league season against St Mirren, the winner in the end in that game, and I certainly see Luis Palma as being an important player in Celtic's squad for next season. Cameron Carter-Vickers apparently had very strong interest from Fulham, Ipswich and most particularly West Ham. However, Cameron Carter-Vickers has quite categorically, through a source that he uses with the press, has stated he is not leaving Celtic as things stand, and so we can look forward to both Carter-Vickers and Luis Palma representing us next season. Currently, both Cameron Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnston are away representing their countries, America and Canada respectively, in the Copa America, which started last evening with Argentina beating Alistair Johnston's Canada 2-0. Cameron Carter-Vickers is part of America's squad as well, and that tournament runs up to the middle of July, and so both Carter-Vickers and Johnston will be given a couple of weeks extra holidays, and so they won't really be back until the start of August. Players such as Liam Scales, Rio Hatate and Dyson Maida, all of whom were involved in international games at the start of June, they'll all have an extra couple of weeks of a break, and so won't be coming back to pre-season until a week or two after next Thursday, Friday. Obviously, James Forrest, Greg Taylor, Alistair Ralston and Callum McGregor are all involved in Scotland's European Nations tournament for at least one more game, and hopefully as a Scottish fan, they can do well against Hungary and get second or third in their group, which hopefully should get them through to the knockout stage for the first time in the history of Scottish international football at a big tournament. Number of irons in the fire Celtic have in terms of potentially signing Paulo Bernardo. That story seems to have gone rather cold. The last story was that there was an impasse in contract negotiations between Celtic and Bernardo and his agent over his wages, his salary. That story did seem a wee bit unlikely to me, as according to official financial figures, Bernardo was on €4,000, around about £3,000 per week at Benfica the season before he came to Celtic. The season he played for Celtic, Celtic were paying him €5,800, and so I find it very difficult to believe that his contracted wages salary for the 24-25 season at Benfica would be that much higher than the €5,800 we happily paid him last season. And so I suspect there may well be some other form of assurances that Bernardo and his agent are looking at, or some form of additional bonuses or contract details. Hopefully over the next week that will all become clearer. And Celtic also have been said to have made bids for Daniel Amartey, Dominic Livakovic, and Urjan Cakir. There has been absolutely no progress on any of those. No indications whether Celtic have gone in with a formal offer for Bojan Miovski or Tommy Conway as additional strikers to support Kyogo next season. And similarly, nothing at all regarding Celtic's inquiries regarding Peter Vindahl Jensen with Sparta Prague, or Flavius Daniliuk, who is currently at Salernitana in Italy's Serie B, and is of course currently representing Austria at the European Nations. So, to cut a long story short, pre-season starts in 6 to 7 days' time. Some players are expected back on the Thursday, some people are expected back on the Friday. As I said, a number of Celtic squad will be away for another couple of weeks on holidays because they played at the start of June internationally, and players such as the four Scots at European Nations and Carter Vickers and Johnston will all have a couple of weeks break after their participations in the international tournaments ends. So that just about finishes things off for today. Apologies for there not being any concrete news. I have been desperately trawling all morning and all day Thursday to find something positive, something concrete, something very clear, but at the moment it looks like Celtic are doing lots of negotiating, lots of inquiries, lots of scouting, lots of watching players, but as yet have not got any deals confirmed either in or out of the club, nor have they got any contracts signed for our promising teenagers Kelly or Vata, although they have signed quite a number of players in the academy and some young, very promising 15-16-year-olds who will be entering the academy under-19 team for next season. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hopefully next week's news, next week's videos all have happy endings and nice positive stories of players coming to Celtic who are going to improve us significantly, and maybe a few players such as Lagerbielke, Nawrocki, Mikey Johnston and others leaving the club to create space for new players to come into. And so until next week, goodbye and hail, hail.
here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started. The sound, the vibe, I feel so alive. I'm only here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started. The sound, the vibe, big bass, that's where the heart is. I'm only here for the party.